Hi guys, welcome back to What Could Go Wrong. Today, like the video says, why I quit tanking in the war within. So before I get too big into classes and before I get too big into like the specifics of why I quit, I want to give a little bit of background on myself. I haven't really posted a whole lot of videos. I've done a couple of them here and there, but background on myself. I started playing the game back in Wrath of the Lich King. I took a break during Warlords of Draenor and Legion and the first. No, I'm sorry. Legion, Battle for Azeroth, and the first half of Shadowlands. Um, just due to being in the military, made it difficult to keep up with playing the game as well as like my obligations. So I just kind of took a break for a couple years, took some time off, came back when I was able to. I came back in about halfway through season 2 of Shadowlands. Played all the way through, played up as DPS, started learning mechanics, started learning the game again, like relearning how to play. And then in season 4 of in season 4 of Shadowlands, I started tanking on my Demon Hunter. I never did anything super serious, I never did anything super crazy, didn't get any titles, anything like that. But I did, I just basically was teaching myself how. I really enjoyed the playstyle of a Demon Hunter. I enjoyed how it felt, how it played. Then in Dragonflight Season 1, I mained an Arms Warrior, and I off-mained my Demon Hunter. Still learning how to play, learning how to do um, different things. And then in Season 2, pretty much took over just tanking on my Demon Hunter. I did a little bit with Paladins. They were okay. I didn't really enjoy the playstyle of a Paladin. I didn't enjoy like how they felt as a tank. Um, And so I just stuck with my Demon Hunter, really enjoyed the playstyle, really enjoyed the way that you could do everything. Big pulls, chain pulls, kiting everything when things were going sideways, being able to heal yourself based off of the damage, being able to like pop meta and like just go unkillable for X amount of time. Like it was so much fun. I had a blast. Stuck with stuck with my Demon Hunter as my main from season 2 of Shadowlands all the way up until just barely into the war within, which I'll get into more later when I talk about my Demon Hunter. So after War Within started, or the announcement came down and we knew it was coming, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick with the tank. I'm gonna go tank man. I don't think I'm gonna do any DPS leveling. Like I'm gonna focus on my tanks. So when the expansion dropped, I focused on leveling up all of my tanks. I did not level up my paladin solely because I just don't enjoy playing a paladin. I don't think that they're a very fun tank. I think that they're very dry. I think they're very boring. The rotation is very simple. I just don't like the way that they play. Um, so started off in the War Within. Started out on my warrior. Now my warrior is a lot of fun. I enjoy playing a warrior. I played a protection warrior back in Cataclysm before I took my break. I played it a lot. I off mained it back in Shadowlands and or no, I'm sorry, not in Shadowlands, in Dragonflight. I off mained it in Dragonflight and I really enjoy how it plays. But here's my problem with warriors, right? So on my warrior, I can go in, I can set up big pulls, I can go and gather up lots of mobs, and I can be just fine. It's great. I've got defensives for everything. I've got protection. I can deal with the magic. I can reflect. I can dodge. Like I can do so much to stop all the damage coming in. But the problem that you run into, or more accurate, that I run into on a warrior is they do not do enough damage, and the spells do not generate enough threat to keep aggro. So I run all of my taunts on cooldown. I tab target every other GCD. It's like shield slam here, thunderclap, tab target, shield slam, thunderclap, tab target, shield slam, thunderclap. And yes, you put other spells in there. It's not just a two spell tank. But when you've got DPS doing over 1,000,000 damage and you're barely hitting 400k, like that's bad. That's a problem for a tank. Now I do understand with the new threat changes that Blizzard just came down with. I get that, but like they nerfed warriors essentially into the ground. They nerfed the damage into the ground, and it's not worth it to play a warrior anymore. It's not enjoyable to play a warrior anymore. You run into the problem of like you get all these big pulls, you survive everything, you can take these hard hits, and you're just this god taking all of these mobs, and then all of a sudden like 4 of them are gone because you lost threat. That does not feel good as a tank. Um, that is not enjoyable as a tank. That is like your nightmare situation, to be honest. Um, and and so warrior tanking, as nice as it was, and as much fun as it is, it's not worth it if I can't keep aggro. It's not. But moving on to Death Knights. So playing a Death Knight, this is probably one of the most fun tanks for me this season. Um, I I enjoy the play style. I enjoy how they feel. I enjoy the the mitigations you have and how there's something for every situation, right? Well, the problem I have with Death Knights is they can't start a pull without risking death, right? If you're pulling one pack at a time, that's great. But if you're trying to set up a big pull, you can't do it. There's just no mitigation for it. The only exception I will say to that is if you have a healer who is just on it, you can set up some really good pulls. You can chain pull really, really well. But you can't just run down a hallway, gather up all the mobs, come back to your group, and be fine. That I have seen so far, they are the only tank that cannot do that. And that's a problem because there are situations and there are scenarios where you need to be able to get down the hallway and pull everything. I think one of the best examples is the first pull of Necrotic Weight. It is so hard to set up that pull without dying because you've got like 3 mobs here and then 3 mobs here and then 3 mobs over here and then 3 mobs in the back. You've got more and you've got to get everybody grouped up, and you don't necessarily have the time to build up those death strikes and to throw them back. Well, that's a problem. I shouldn't be dying trying to set up my first pull. Stone Vaults, another situation. Trying to pull more than 1 mob at a time in that first hallway. Not great. So I think at the end of the day, Death Knights are hands down an amazing tank. But the problem with a Death Knight is you can't set up a big pull. You have to chain pull. There's no mobility. You have to be able to stand still. That, in my opinion, that is an issue. That's a problem. As a tank, you should be versatile enough to do big pulls, little pulls, chain pulls, and run away if you need to. Kiting is a thing for tanks. It's a very key factor of survival at times. It's like, oh, hey, I need to get back because my healer is way back there. I need to be able to kite these mobs back. You can't really do that on Death Knight. You can, but it's not effective, right? Moving along into the Druid. So I love my Druid, and I love Moonfire pulls. I don't care what anybody says. That is the most amazing way to pull mobs. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. So the issue I have with druids is purely in their survivability. Um, I love being able to go set up big pools. Unlike my Death Knight, I can go pull massive amounts of groups, run back to my group, get back into bear form, get set up, throw out a couple defensives, and I've got this big old pull going through, and I've got this big old setup, and like I've got everything coming in, and there's threat generation is going out, and like it's great. It's a great time until one spell goes off and it takes half my health. The magic damage in this season is incredibly high. The amount of magic damage that a druid can take and survive is pathetic. All right. Like the mechanic in Necrotic Wake where they tell you, like, hey, watch your feed, and then the spell goes off and you move out of the spell. Why am I getting one shot by that in a 6? Like, with defensives up too. Like, that should never happen. When I go into Grim Batol, that's another difficult one because, like, that second boss, like, there's a couple of magic damages that, like, he hits me for a good 70% of my health in a 5. Like, that should never happen to a tank. Like, I get tank busters are going to hit you hard, but when I have defensives up, when I have mitigation up, when I have everything set up and ready to go, I should not be getting one shot or close to it. I shouldn't lose 70% of my health on one hit with all of my defensives rolling. Like, how does that make sense? So, those are my big 3 tanks. Those are my big 3 tanks this expansion so far. I played a lot of my Demon Hunter in the beta. I played a lot of my Demon Hunter in the beginning of the expansion, but I have not honestly done much with him since the anniversary patch. And here's my problems with what they did to Demon Hunters. If you go look at the anniversary notes for Demon Hunters, they completely gutted the playstyle. It's so chaotic. Like, Demon Hunter playstyle was like, hey, I've got a little bit of mitigation, then I've got a lot of armor boost, I've got health boost, I've got healing, I've got health boost, I've got healing, I've got armor, I've got health, I've got armor. Like, the ability to be the most versatile tank as a Demon Hunter was insanely easy. Like, it was super simple. Like, if you go back to one of my earlier videos, I did a guide on Demon Hunter tanking, and it's so simple, it's so easy, it's so much fun, and then the entire playstyle gets gutted. And it's not even worth it to play anymore. Like, come on, guys. Going on with my monk, I did a lot with my monk before I started on my warrior. I did a lot with my monk. I did a lot of leveling. I did a lot of gearing. I got him really good. But the way that they have everything set up and the ability to just drop stacks versus controlling your stacks, it's so complicatedly easy that monk is probably one of the easiest tanks to pick up on. Right? Stagger is so simple to control. And then you start getting iterated content. At a 600 item level, I was getting one shot in 2s. Like, how does that make sense? Right? So when push comes to shove, Brewmaster is just broken in the way that it takes damage. And then, as I talked about a little bit earlier with my Paladin, um, I do not enjoy the playstyle of Paladins. I don't enjoy the way that they deal damage, that they mitigate damage. I don't like their defensives. I don't enjoy playing a Paladin. Um, Not to say they're not a good tank. Obviously, they're in the meta right now. Uh, or last I saw, they were in the meta. So it's got nothing to do. It's got nothing to do with the class itself. And it has everything to do with I just don't enjoy it. So, like, why would I play a spec that I don't enjoy in a role that's already dying? Makes no sense, right? But unfortunately, that means that this video is the end of my tanking career. Well, it's the end of my tanking as a main. I've already been working to level up. I got my mage up to 80, my shaman's at 80, I have an evoker at 80, and I have a rogue at 75 that I'm looking at. Each of these specs, they all have a DPS spec that is also very viable. You got Windwalker for monks, you've got Havoc for demon hunters, you've got Feral and Balance for guardian, you've got Frost and Unholy for death knights, and you've got Arms and Fury for warrior. So I'm not saying that I'm just going to leave these classes behind. I'm not saying that I will never play them again. But maining their tank specs is no longer an option. It's no longer fun, it's no longer enjoyable, and it's no longer worth it. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Um, leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. I'm gonna try and do a couple more posting video or a couple more videos, get them posted. Um, Probably just gonna be some POV runs on my shaman, my mage. I might do a couple leveling videos with my rogue. Do some stuff with my evoker. Um, but yeah, like I said, if you guys like it, leave a like on the video, subscribe, comment below. Just yeah, y'all have a good one.